Shabbat Shalom, and it's so great to have all of you here tonight, especially because we have some very special guests, which we will introduce a little bit later. And we begin with Shalom Aleichem, which means peace upon you.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch.
And to light our candles tonight, we call on Susie Kopel.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And Jordan is going to lead us in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchelanu, v'zicharon l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'otanu kedashta, mechol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, v'ava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. And now if Susie, you can mute yourself, that would be great. Okay. As I mentioned before, during the month of Elul, we are supposed to read Psalm 27 every day. And so a couple of weeks ago, we read not only Psalm 27, but some interesting interpretations of different parts of it by Rabbi Deborah Robbins. So I want to read the Psalm now, and then we'll read some of the interpretations throughout the service. And Elul, of course, is a time when we're preparing for the high holidays, for changing our ways and being better people. Psalm 27 of David. Adonai is my light and my victory. From whom should I feel fright? Adonai is a stronghold of my life. From whom should I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war arises against me, in this I would trust. One thing have I sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace, that you might hide me in your sukkah on a chaotic day. Hide me in the hiding places of your tent. Raise me high upon a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about. And in your tent, I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice. I'm crying out. Be gracious to me. Answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face. I'm seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life? Wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. We continue with Lecha Dodi, where we welcome the Sabbath bride.
There we go. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, ishmi'anu el ham yechad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litkila la 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 lecha. Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki himchor habaracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sov maaseh b'machshava, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech melucha, kumitzi metofa hafecha, rav lach shevet b'mechabacha, v'hu yachmol elayichem la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 la. Chadodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
So as I said, Rabbi Deborah Robbins went through all the different words in the psalm and kind of riffed on them. So this is the word kol yemei chaye, all day, every day. And the full context is, one thing have I sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. So here's what she writes about it. Watching the marsh all day, every day, I realize I am already living the psalmist's dream. I already live in God's house all day, every day. My soul dwells in my body, fashioned from dust by God. My organs function effortlessly, or so it seems, each according to its own design. My nerves, blood, tissues connect to each other miraculously. I am in awe. I am filled with gratitude for this house. I already live in God's house all day, every day. My body dwells on this earth created out of an unformed void by God. My feet tread lightly or sometimes heavily in the morning sunshine, in the evening beneath the moon, among the infinite varieties of life that fill this planet, each with a name, all according to species and genus. I am in awe. I am filled with gratitude for this house. And this marsh, this is God's house too. It changes from minute to minute as I watch it, all day, every day. A cloud casts a shadow on the grasses. A puff of wind rustles the leaves of the birch trees. The tide recedes in increments as the mud is exposed and fiddler crabs emerge. The tide turns and the channels overflow, flooding the green expanse. A chorus of sparrows sings, followed by silence, and then a single voice. The hum of bees rises from the lavender plant all day, every day, always the same, always different. The smell of the sea, what was once alive, breathing new life into the marsh, all day, every day. This is God's house. This is God's house, and I am already here. I will add my voice to the voices of the birds, the leaves, the water, the insects. These are my songs, my chants, my praises. I will be silent like the fog settling over the marsh, offering my prayer all day, every day. I am in awe. I am filled with gratitude for this house. And we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yehutei v'yamlich malhutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chaye dehol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, Le'alam l'almei almaya yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'yimaru, Amen. And if you would like to rise for the Baruch Hu, you may, or you may rise internally. The Baruch Hu, the call to worship.
Lai, 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 lai. 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 Bahu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Ba'ed Le'olam 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 Leolam, Leolam. Ma, la, 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 la. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
And here's what Deborah Robbins had to say about Ezrati, which means, according to her, call me by my nickname. It really means my helper, my servant, whatever. And this is the context. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. And this is her piece about it. As with close friends or lovers, parents and children, I call you, God, by many names. My strength, my towering crag, my fortress, my rescuer, my rock, my place of refuge, my shield, my horn of victory, my stronghold, healer of the brokenhearted, binder of wounds. Like the psalmist who lifts eyes to heaven and calls to you by a favorite nickname, Ezri, my help. I call you Ezrati, you who have been my help. Like the best names of endearment, it flows from my lips. Unbounded by rules of grammar and intimate expression in my affection. God said in the Garden of Eden, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make an Ezer Kenegdo, a fitting helper for him. Perhaps Adam called Eve, my help, to get Adam's attention when she was afraid. They were created as each other's Ezer Kenegdo, meant to help one another and act as sacred partners with God. Each of them, each of us, made in God's image, meant to help another. I call to you, Ezrati, with gratitude and fear, with the intimacy of Adam and Eve. And because we are sacred partners, you can call me by my nickname. I am your Ezer Kenegdo, your sacred partner here on earth. Like you, when I hear my name called, I take notice and act. I am available to those who feel alone, who are seeking the face of holiness in a desperate situation. I cannot turn away, I cannot hide. I cannot forsake a man or abandon a woman or leave behind a child who calls out to God, to me, Ezrati, you who have been my help. We continue with Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat olam, Yisrael, Amecha Havita, Amcha Havita, Torah mitzvot, Ukimu mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochvenu, ufkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha leolam ba'ed, ki hem chayenu. Ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeyomam v'layla negeyomam בלילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
And we continue with the Shema. Again, if you would like to rise, please feel free to do so or rise internally.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
And Carol Lee, will you please lead us in the Ve'ahavta?
Everybody chant with me, please. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'sartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot betecha uvisharecha laman tiskaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher Hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you, Carol Lee.
Oh, my pleasure.
So the Shema, listen, is part of the psalm as well. Hear Adonai, my voice, I am crying out. Be gracious to me, answer me. So Shema Adonai. The word catches me off guard every day. I see the three familiar Hebrew letters, Shin, Mem, Ayin. I read one word, Shema. I translate the one word, hear. And as if on autopilot, I launch into reciting the most central, the most said, the most essential words, prayer, mantra, affirmation of Jewish life, known as the watchword of our faith, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, Adonai our God, Adonai is one. God's words are rooted in the Torah and grow familiar to me in the prayer book, spoken both morning and night. You, people Israel, Jews, believers, non-believers too, listen, pay attention, hear. Adonai, our God, is one. Here the psalmist also says, Shema, listen, pay attention, hear. Hear, Adonai, my voice. These are human words addressed to God, a plea for Adonai to listen, to pay attention, to hear the words spoken from my heart. The Shema of the psalmist catches me off guard every day of Elul. Until now, the psalm filled my head with sound, the shofar, the singing, the noise. And then amid the cacophony, a single voice cries out, an audacious role reversal. Listen, my one God, to my one voice. Hear me crying out, and you be gracious and answer me. A demand on myself as well. I must pray, sing, speak, give voice to the clamoring pain and suffering of the chaotic world. I must do what the Israelites did. I must cry out, and then perhaps God will respond once again. I have heard the moaning, and I remember, and I will be your God. We continue with the Michamocha, the song at the sea that we sang after we left slavery in Egypt.
Omni chamocha ba'alim Adonai. Omni kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. O nora tehilot, o sefer elei. O nora tehilot, o sefer elei. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, these songs of freedom. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha bokeyam lifnei Moshe. Hoseli anu v'amu Adonai imloch leolam ba'ed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, these songs of freedom, redemption.
Ve'ata yarum roshi, holding my head high. And the context for that is now my head rises high above my enemies round about. And in your tent, I'll offer offerings to the sound of truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. It's about posture. I come before God upright, standing, head high, feet planted, palms facing out, long spine, level chin, relaxed jaw. Ears away from shoulders, shoulder blades, angel wings tucked in. Feel the shift. My breath flows more freely. I am less constricted so that my heart might pump with gratitude, with compassion. Upright, I can gaze toward the horizon, beyond my troubles, my enemies round about, toward the horizon, just above the troubles, the enemies that cluster around. Upright, I can envision potential paths, infinite destinations. Upright, no upturned nose, no head hung in shame, no high horse of judgment. Upright takes focus, active effort, physical and mental determination. Only with my head held high and my breath flowing freely can I come before God and discern the shofar's call. Truah. We continue with Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. 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 Ushmor tzedkeinu, Uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzedkeinu, Uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
The Adonai Ya'asfeni, my gatherer. The context is, for my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Abandoned and gathered up. I know this cycle of loss and comfort. I have walked this path of pain and found peace. It is my inheritance, a legacy given by my parents. The name Ruth. Ruth the Moabite, the widow, the one who abandons her parents. Ruth, the gatherer of sheaves, the one gathered by a family, a people, God. I hear her pleading voice, please let me glean. I see her in the field, a sun-faded shawl draped over her shoulders, back bent and heart lifted. One step and then another. She follows the women gathering the scraps, following the men cutting the stalks of grain, gleaning leftovers from leftovers. She is following her people, her God, toward home. I hear her voice again, please let me gather. I see her still in the field, worn sandals strapped onto her feet, always in motion, hands extended. The sheaves of barley gathered painstakingly one by one, each noticed, touched, examined, evaluated, and only then harvested, carefully cut, gently gathered together with other stalks. The gatherer of sheaves extends her strong white embrace, bundles them together. She holds them to her, breathes in their fragrance, knows their very essence, and carries them all. Ruth does what God did for her, what God does for me. She knows she will never be abandoned again. She is home. I utter a prayer. I am not alone. Blessed are you, Adonai, my gatherer. Now, Eileen Stein is going to lead us in the first three blessings of the Amidah.
Adonai Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufiagi, Tehilatecha. Adonai Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufiagi Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'Nehem Lema'an Shemo Ba'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Meimidu Mechaye Umatmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom Yahalalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
And let's take a moment to pray silently. part of the Amidah, the tefillah, is a blessing of thanksgiving. And Rabbi Robbins has a commentary on May 8, Adonai, 100 times a day, because the rabbis tell us we're supposed to say 100 blessings every day. And the context for that is, one thing have I sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I may live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I may look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. First, it sounds like nagging. If I've asked you once, I've asked you 100 times. Next, I start to sound focused. I'm not asking for a lot, not 100 things, just one thing, and it's the most important to me. Then I remember the Talmud spiritual practice, offer 100 blessings a day. All day, ask God for one thing, 100 different things. Please receive my prayer. I am alive in your house, and I'm so very grateful. 100 blessings a day requires an early start. Eyes open, thank you. Breath flowing, thank you. Standing upright, thank you. Sun rose, thank you. Ground firm beneath my feet, thank you. In every challenging situation, thank you for courage. After every difficult conversation, thank you for patience. With every disappointment, thank you for hope. For every physical discomfort, thank you for strength. At each accomplishment, small and large, thank you. The opportunities for gratitude abound. With each bite of food, thank you for the soil. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the farmer. Thank you for the man who transported this food and the woman who sold it. It takes all day to get from 1 to 100. A beautiful pink cloud at sunset, thank you. The silence of the night, thank you. The stars spread across the sky, thank you. The love of a spouse, a partner, a parent, a child, love for myself, thank you. The renewing power of sleep, thank you. All day, every day, 100 times a day, I ask one thing. Please receive my prayer. I am alive in your house, and I am so very grateful. And the final blessing of the Amidah is a blessing of peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Be'akol Yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Be'akol Yoshvei Tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'akol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha beit Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Ve'akol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam.
There have been a lot of tragedies in the last week or so between what's going on in Afghanistan and fires in California and floods, not only in the south, but also on the East Coast. So for our Misha Berach, I'd like to offer a prayer to those who have suffered, and this one is specifically about those who suffered from the hurricane, written by Alden Solovey. God of heaven and earth, source of all, the storm has passed. Earth, sea, and sky are quiet. The tempest moved on. Thank you for the kinship of neighbors and friends as we work together to clean up after violent weather. Bless those who are injured with healing and recovery. Bless those who lost family or friends with comfort and hope. Provide food and clothing, warmth and comfort to all in need. Thank you for providing safety and shelter to those who made it out of harm's way. Thank you for the emergency and rescue workers who kept watch and risked their lives for our community. As we return to our daily lives, we pray for the victims of any disaster, any violence, suffering, or despair. Blessed are you, our rock and our shelter. And we mention names of those in our congregation and friends and family of congregants: Jonathan Davidson, Ben Henderson, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangus, Steve Lux, Leslie Ferris, Pamela Mangus, Johnny Sickhat, Roberta Gershon, Sid Love, Larry Miller, Judy Cronenfeld, Myrna Pavlak, Jeff Simons, Esperanza Moriel, Rabbi Anna Koch, Harav Hana, Rachel Bat Rosav Wolf, Stephen Strauss, Kelly Work, Kenny Hayes, Bob Pearlstein, Carol Chase Balash, Marilyn Whitmer, Abby Sandaha, and Deanna Cohen. And if you'd like to add a name in the chat, please do so.
Bella Glassman.
Patty Podnar, Amy Morton, Diana Anderson, Greg Young, Kim Ko, Raul Camacho, Siri Gibbs, Zora Scott, Kirsten Walsh, Mary Scott and Richard Scott, Virgie Lawrence, Astrid Webb, Carol DiCarlo. Anybody here have names? Please join us in the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Misha Berach Imoteinu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotenu. Mi sheberach imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
I'm sure that many of us have been struck by the images of people in Kabul trying desperately to leave their country. And of course, so many people have been desperate to leave their countries for reasons of persecution and violence. And contrary to what some people believe, people don't come here because they want to go to Disneyland. This is a poem by Orson Shire, a British Somali poet, and it's called Home. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one would leave home unless home chased you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought about doing, and so when you did, you carried the anthem under your breath, waiting until the airport toilet to tear up the passport and swallow each mouthful of paper, making it clear that you would not be going back. You have to understand, no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. Who would choose to spend days and nights in the stomach of a truck unless the miles traveled meant something more than journey? No one would choose to crawl under fences, to be beaten until your shadow leaves you, raped, then drowned, forced to the bottom of the boat because you were darker, be sold, starved, shot at the border like a sick animal, be pitied, lose your name, lose your family, make a refugee camp a home for a year or 2 or 10, stripped and searched, find prison everywhere. And if you survive and you are greeted on the other side with go home blacks, refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry of milk, dark with their hands out, smell strange, savage, look what you've done. Look what they've done to their own countries. What will they do to ours? The dirty looks in the streets softer than a limb torn off, the indignity of everyday life, more tender than 14 men who look like your father, between your legs, insults easier to swallow than rubble, than your child's body in pieces. For now, forget about pride. Your survival is more important. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of the gun, and no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore, unless home tells you to leave what you could not behind, even if it was human. No one leaves home until home is a damp voice in your ear saying, leave, run now. I don't know what I've become. So tonight we have the great privilege of guests, Mesbah and Sabahat Dawar, 2 sisters who are here from Afghanistan. They've been here for a few years, and only one of them is going to speak. The other one is here for moral support. But first, I'd like to introduce Celine Nielsen. Some of you may remember she's spoken to our congregation before. She is the person who founded Locally Connected, which has helped Afghani refugees for many years. And so Celine is going to say a few words and introduce our speaker.
Hi. Where do I look?
Speaking to the mic and the camera's there. Don't look here.
Okay.
It's very
Okay. Thank
distracting.
thank you.
I'll turn this down through.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much, Rabbi Suzanne. Thank you for having me here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I've been here before. I've spoken with everybody. You might remember I have spoken on behalf of Syrian refugees when the crisis was really at its highest in 2015. But right now we have another crisis. And last week we have spent a lot of time trying to get people, some women, some at-risk Afghans out of Afghanistan. And we've been working with Afghan families for about 5 years. As a part of our mission is to build communities. And that's what Rabbi Suzanne does really well, is that she connects with people and build communities. So we have had some classes, ESL classes. We train people for citizenship and driver's licenses. And we also have some basic needs help, one-on-one tutoring, and whatever a community member might need, basically. And we have volunteers. We have people joining us in order to, extend a helping hand. But it's not only that, but our Afghan families here have also contributed to the community by feeding the homeless, preparing meals, and making masks, hundreds and hundreds of masks when the pandemic hit. And so we are a big family, basically. Fariba's family, my friend Fariba, she came from Kabul, Afghanistan, and she ran a girls' school. She came here with her husband and 4 girls, and 5 years ago, and they became my family almost. And so Mesbah here is going to talk to you, tell you a little bit about her story, and what it is. What is it through a young person's eyes? So without further ado, I would like you to come and speak to the congregation. Thank you so much. Here's Mesbah.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm here to talk about how the situation affected I'm so sorry, even thinking about it makes me emotional.
We're with you.
So we came here 5 years ago, and my mom decided to come because the situation was getting worse. And as my mother, as a mother of 4 daughters, it's hard because, as you know, the situation in Afghanistan, it's harder for a girl than a guy. I have friends that over there that they're talking about the situation that's happening and what they're going through, and they're just very hopeless because the situation is very hard especially for young girls, especially my generation, because this what is happening right now, it was just a story for us, for this generation, because we never imagined that this would happen again. And we would be the generation that it's going to go through that. And it's very heartbreaking seeing my people and my family that lives there going through this. And I'm very happy that I'm here, and and I am the voice of my people who are suffering right now in this situation, in this horrifying situation. Well, I would say that it's very hard, even if you're like outside of Afghanistan, because the pain that you have in your heart, knowing that you just failed your country, seeing that the flag you're so proud of taken down. And my mom decided to come here before it's too late to give us the opportunity of to grow up in a better situation, gives us the best opportunities to continue our higher education. Because right now, as it was 5 years ago was better, but right now even girls cannot go to universities, they cannot even go to schools to continue their education and to get to their goals and dreams, because they don't let them to do that, because they think that if a woman get educated, they're gonna get powerful, and their power might be less, and they might not have the control as they have to. So, well, my mother decided to come here to come here to not experience what she's been through, and she just wants us to have a good life, to have a good future. And I'm very happy to be here and tell you my story. I get emotional so easily. So this was a situation that I've that I can, because I can hold back my emotions because of the situation. This past weeks were very hard for me, for my family, for every Afghan around the world. Because even though if you're away from there, it still makes you sad, because just watching your people falling to the ground, running away from their home with hopelessness, it just very hard. And even I put myself in their spot. I feel that hopelessness, and I'm very thankful and grateful for people, especially for my parents, that give me the opportunity to get out of the situation and never face that. And I'm very thankful to Celine and Locally Connected, because they were people that prepared us to live here in the United States, because when we came here, we start from the zero. So we actually had nothing. And because of them now, and because of my family who live here, now we are in the part that we live in a very comfortable situation. But still, I'm very, very concerned about my people, especially my generation, because my generation is not the same as the 20 years ago. We don't want to be under control of some people who doesn't know the values, and we want to just go to the path of following our dreams and get to what we want in the future, and help our helpless people to live their best life, because I've once been through a lot since 45 years, and I remember that my mom always tells the story of how this has started, and it's I don't think it's gonna end, and Afghanistan, everyone is very hopeless, because like how long would that take for Afghans to experience peace? So, and I'm here, and I'm very grateful to be the voice of my people here right now in this community, and tell you that we need our help. It could be your prayers, it could be financially, anything that you can. And right now I'm praying to God to give them more strength, and give them the ability to survive. And I'm very thankful that I'm here, and I'm here right now talking to you about my people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Mesbah and her sister are actually studying engineering at Riverside Community College. So they have a great future ahead of them, and both of their parents really wanted them to have the opportunity. And you're 5 girls, right? 4, okay. Wanted to have opportunities for all 4 girls to, follow their dreams and learn in university and move forward. And they've been here 5 years, and they still have not gotten asylum status. So the system is pretty broken. I'm going to do a shameless advertisement for ways that you can help. First of all, Celine's organization published these 2 books. See if you can see them. One is The Stranger is My Friend, which are poems and artwork by various Afghani young people. Who made the artwork in the front? Oh, Mesbah made the artwork in the front. And then there's also this lovely Afghani cookbook. Each one is $25. I have a bag of them. If anybody wants to purchase these as a way to help, please just let me know and I will save one for you. Also, Locally Connected, you can look it up on Google, and if you'd like to make a donation, that would be very much appreciated. We'll send out some information in our next congregational email. I just also wanted to mention that Deborah Robbins' book that I was reading from is also available through the CCAR Press. It's called Opening Your Heart with Psalm 27. And actually, it's part of a spiritual practice that she outlines here using all of these interpretations that she wrote. There's also an app. The CCAR has an app for this, which will help you meditate and spend some time with these Psalms. So that is also available. Okay, now we're going to open it up for some announcements. First of all, I'm sure Christine Gailey would like to share the wonderful journey that she completed this week. Christine, do you want to talk to us about it?
Yeah, well, that's a very hard thing to follow. I remember going through that 25 years ago when the first round of women were being tormented by the Taliban and trying to get friends out then. So I hope that we can open up our hearts and our homes and what we can share with this generation. But the happiness this week is that I went to the mikveh in LA where Rabbi Singer was already there, and Emily guided me through the process. And I was so worried ahead of time that I would be 40 years on the 405 and the 101 and the 10 because I have such a bad sense of direction and the traffic is horrendous. But I got there with my daughter, Sarah, and Cece, her partner, and it was really, it truly is transformative. I just feel wonderful now and so empowered and in a sense of being part of something way beyond who I am. And it's so inspiring, and there's so much, for Tikkun Olam that it's preparing me for. And I've done what I can do until now, but now I really feel strengthened. And I want to thank everybody in the community for helping me along the way and not making fun when I pronounce things in a terrible way. And heaven only knows what I've really been saying. And I want to especially thank Rabbi Singer for just being a wonderful teacher. And, you really exemplify what a rabbi should be always. And I thank you very much. Thanks,
Well,
everybody.
we're very happy to have you. And Christine will share her journey in more detail next month. You've gotten a lot of very nice comments in the chat. Thank you for sharing your journey and admiring you. And one person asked why you settled in California. Do you know why? Okay, your family was already here. Okay. Oh, their mother's sister was already here. Okay, great. Any other announcements? Eileen, I'm sure would like to say a few words about our digital food drive.
As always, we have many, many people who are hungry in our community. And since we are not having in-person services, we can't collect in-person canned goods. So if you look in the weekly emails, you will see that I have listed all of the 3 agencies that we do support. Their websites are listed, their mailing addresses. And if you have the ability, could you please support them monetarily this year? Hopefully next year we'll have boxes in the foyer.
Yes, next year in person. Thank you, Eileen, for doing that every year. Any other announcements?
Rabbi,
Yes.
can the ladies stay after the service to help give us some more information about
Sure,
Afghanistan?
Sure. I think people would like to talk to you after the service, so we'll make that possible. Okay. Thank you, Ezra. I think that's Ezra, right? Yes, it is. Monday is Rosh Hashanah. Our service is at 7 p.m., followed the next day by a service at 10 a.m. And at 3:30, we're going to have about a half an hour children's family service on the lawn here in person, masked. And then we're going to go to Fairmount Park for Tashlich. Tashlich is the tradition of traditionally throwing breadcrumbs into a body of moving water to get rid of our sins. We're not going to actually throw breadcrumbs because we're not allowed to in Fairmont Park. But what we're doing is that the kids are all, got to listen to this, Nick, for your kids, right? The kids are all going to have little rocks or little, stones, and they're going to write on it what they want to get rid of and then throw those into the lake. And I want to thank Nick and Jory. I don't know if you can move the camera to show you. But anyway, Nick and Jory have spent countless hours working on this technology. I think we're almost there. It's been, a challenge, shall we say. But we're just about there, luckily, because Monday we needed to work. So thank you so much. And Jordan, thank you for your music. And Jordan has a song about refugees that he would like to offer to our guests.
This is a song by an American hardcore punk rock band, but they did actually do an acoustic version of it. The man who wrote the lyrics, it's from a band called Rise Against. So you can tell that they get involved in a lot of things. It's from, I think, 2005 or 2006, from yet another, group of refugees who were being forced out of another country and forced to be in limbo. And it's called Prayer of the Refugee. Warm yourself by the fire, son. Morning will come soon. Tell you stories of a better time and the place that we once knew. For we packed our bags and left all this behind us in the dust. We had a place that we could call home and a life no one could touch. Don't hold me up now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you will let me down, down, down. Don't hold me up now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you will let me down, down, down. We are the angry and the desperate, the hungry and the cold. We are the ones who kept quiet and always did what we were told. But we've been sweating while you slept so calm in the safety of your home. Been pulling out the nails that hold up everything you've known. Don't hold me up now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you will let me down, down, down. Don't hold me up now, I can't stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you will let me down, 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 down. So open your eyes, child. Let's be on our way. Broken windows and ashes are guiding the way. Keep quiet no longer, we'll sing through the day. All the lives that we've lost and the lives we've reclaimed. Don't hold me up now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you won't let me down, down, down. Don't hold me up now, I can stand my own ground. I don't need your help now, you will let me down, 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 down. Yeah, I have a hard time not being emotional when I sing about things like this or hear people talk about things like this. Thank you for speaking.
Yes, you got a lot of compliments and sympathy. And even though Elise Martinez said, what a nice closing song, it's actually not the closing song because we have more to go. We have the Aleinu, for example. So we continue with the Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer reshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kamishpahot ha'adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim umishpachatim umodim, Lifnei melech malhei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu note shamayim veyoser aretz hu moshav yakaro bashamayim mimal hu shchinatu zo begavhe meromim hu Eloheinu einod emet malkeinu efesulato Kakatu vitorato viadata hayam vehashevota elvaveha ki Adonai hu Elohim bashamayim mimal ve'al haaretz mitachat einod Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Ushemo echad. Yes, may it be so that one day God's name is one, where we recognize that we are all part of one big human family. We now take a moment to think of those who are no longer with us. May their memories be for a blessing. And we, of course, think about people who perished in Afghanistan this past week, in the Hurricane Ida, in the fires, and we think of all of them. We offer our condolences to Avi Altman on the passing of Harel Altman, his husband, and we offer our condolences to Joan Pasternak on the passing of her brother-in-law, Alan Pasternak. Is anyone in Shiva Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning or the first year of mourning? If you'd like to add a name, please do so in the chat or unmute yourself, please. First year, Janine Lester, Julia Poveda, Jimmy Murphy, Dina Eliason, Mardell Taylor, Ozell Walton. Sanford Victor, Sandy Schneider, the children who've perished from COVID. Pat Constantini, first year, Bernard Blanchard. Sanford Victor.
Heshi Glick, first year.
Heshi Glick, first year. Albert Archibald Jr., Brenda Oppenheim. And we are observing yard sites this Shabbat for Jesse D. Hayes, Evelyn Bierman, Augusta Fendel, Bert Scott Bellin, Esther Dolan, Leonard Gordon, Jeff White, Joan Corlett Johnson, Meyer Schifris, Conrad Yarmoff, Liz Brandler, Sydney Lerner, Ida Miller, Henry Ehrlich, Jack Gersh, Yona Rubian, Jenny Gavieser, Sarah B. Grossfeld, Dr. Samuel Resnick, Stella Blackman. Please add a name if you are observing a yard site.
Harrison Ginsburg.
And of course, we think of those who perished in the Holocaust and have no one to say the mourner's Kaddish for them. If you feel like unmuting, please do so, and we will join together in the mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal, V'yikdash, Rabba,
Rabba.
Ve'alma divrach v'yamech mahute, Chayachon u'v'yamechon u'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'adava b'zman karev imru, Amen. Hey Shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yu'am v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yidaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'amiram be'alma
Karim,
Amen. Hey Shloma Rabba Mishmaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen.
Osei shalom b'rama.
Say shalom.
Amen.
Amen. Send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say.
Amen.
Amen.
Our closing song is Salam Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, a prayer for peace. And then we're going to blow the shofar.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al Kulam. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam.
Shofar is meant to wake us up out of our lethargy, out of our indifference, out of our comfort with how things have been, and waking up to the need for change. Eric Sabar is our wonderful shofar blower. I don't know if that's the technical term or not, but before we blow the shofar, we say a blessing. The blessing for blowing the shofar, the thing we're supposed to do is not blow it, but hear it. That is the mitzvah, the commandment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with commandments and commands us to blow and to hear the shofar. Tekiah. Tekiah gedolah. Yasher Koach. I hope that awakens all of us. And before we do the motzi, I just want to mention something because of all that was going on in the chat. If you want to buy these books, please do it through Globally Connected. Please don't go to Amazon because I would like the money to go to Globally Connected, not to Jeff Bezos, so he can send up another rocket into the universe. Okay, thank you. Hamotzi, let me get the bread. And it's a beautiful round challah, which of course you can't see, but you will see it afterwards.
Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Can we get a shot of the beautiful round challah? There we go. And Nick's children will have another morning of delicious French toast challah. So people would like to remain and talk. Can we keep projected so they can talk to the big screen rather than to my little tiny computer?
Excuse me, Rabbi, where did you get the round challah?
I did not get it. Susan did, so you'll have to ask her.
Okay, thank you.
So let's see. I should give them the microphone, right? If they want to. If you want to talk to these young ladies, oh, we're going to have a camera? Or do you want them to come up here? Okay, we have a second camera and you will be able to talk to them if you'd like. When the camera, oh, here it goes all the way around. Yes, that's my back. And their front, there we are. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the mics. That way they can hear you. So Ezra, I know you wanted to talk to them. Do you have something specific you'd like to ask?
Well, I don't want to keep anyone here too late. I just have a couple of simple questions. I hate to put them on the spot, but did they feel that America has let them down?
I don't want to talk about politics because I feel like politics is not something that I want to mention here. Yeah, it's more humanitarian. It's more a feeling of being a human. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Well, thank you. I realize it's not an easy thing to talk about.
Do you experience, my name is Lori Magnus. Do you experience problems when you go out in public? Do people say things?
The good thing about California is the diversity, especially the Southern California, and and I'm so thankful that even when I was in high school, I heard some like bullying stories, but thank God I've never experienced any of those. And people are very friendly, especially I haven't been to any other states, or I actually been to Arizona and Nevada, but those people were and my for 5 years that I've been here, people are very respectful and very kind. They're people that I've never, let me put it that way, I've never experienced any hate from people. So yeah, that's what I like about California.
That's wonderful.
How did you learn English? How long ago did you learn English? And you're very good. Your English is excellent.
Thank you very much. My sister won't answer this question, so. Well, she talked a lot. So in Afghanistan, we were, well, they actually teach English as a second language in every school, public or private, but they don't teach it as, I don't know how to say it, as professional, I guess. So a lot of them who just come from normal public or private school, they have to learn English here because they can't speak or anything. They just learning for passing the class, to be honest. Me and my sister, we went to a Turkish school. It was, yeah, so it was all like Western standard teaching. So we were taught all sciences in English, and we were taught very English, American English, and our professors were also Turkish, so we had to learn English. They couldn't just translate it in Persian for us. And we learned Turkish too. But yeah, so me and my sister, we learned English there, but when we came here, we knew how to read and write. But with speaking, we had some troubles because we didn't really speak fluently back in Afghanistan. And Globally Connected really helped us a lot with that. And we were there before we started high school. And now that I think about it, if we didn't know about Globally Connected, or we didn't go there to like improve our speaking, we wouldn't be able to do as well as we did in high school. So yeah, all the credit goes to Globally Connected.
Ladies,
Serve
could I
as
ask
an
what it's like
advert.
to try to
Yeah.
communicate with people in Afghanistan?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
What is it like trying to communicate with people, friends in Afghanistan now?
Well, their Wi-Fi is not good. Not a lot of them have Wi-Fi, but the good thing, they have like, they buy credits from outside, and it's enough for us to have contact with each other. So yeah, we didn't have any problems with that. It's just the time zone, but we can adjust that.
I had a question of what your personal goals are now.
Personal, right now, for me, I just want to make my parents proud, I guess, because I'm sorry, I get emotional when it comes to my parents. Well, they sacrificed everything for us to come here. My mom was a principal at a private school, and my dad owned his own business. He was a project manager. He had just started his business. I guess it was 2 years. He started the business, and it was going very well. Like, we had a comfortable life compared to others, like the majority. And that was also the reason we could go to Turkish school. The tuition was very high, and it was in dollars, in American dollars. So not all families can afford that in Afghanistan. So they had very good lives. When we came here, well, they had a tough decision. We left our home. We left everything we've had. Just like my sister said, we started at zero. And we just built up from that. So yeah, right now, my personal goal is to make my parents proud of their decisions that they made for us. And I want their sacrifices to be worth it. And yeah.
I'm sure they are very proud of you. Okay, maybe one last question so we can let these young ladies go home. Anybody have another question? I will share with you all the wonderful comments that, that people wrote. They're very, very impressed with you. Okay, we're gonna sign off for the evening, and Shabbat Shalom to everybody. See you Monday night. Have a good weekend.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, ladies.
Shabbat Shalom, and thank you very much, Rabbi.
Shalom.
And Jordan.
Thank you, ladies.
Shalom, everyone.